Now, we'll start it off with this this gentleman. Well, he's not too young anymore. But anyway, he's a poet, and he hails from Genese, Idaho, which is up there by University of Idaho in that country up there. And you know what? I know his wife, Jan, pretty good, and I know JB pretty good. Anyway, and JB was telling me that his wife drives like lightning. I said, does she go fast? He says, nah, she hits trees, houses, fence posts, everything. But anyway, give him a hand. Mr. JB Barber.
Closer to truth than fiction. I feel really privileged to be here tonight. Like Sam said, my name's JB Barber. And I would like to start off with probably one of my favorite poems by Omar Barker. It's called Purt Near. Well, they called him Purt Near Perkins. For unless that booger lied, he's purt near done most everything he's ever tried. Purt near been a preacher. He purt near roped a bear. He met up with Comanches once and purt near lost his hair. He had purt near wed an heiress who had money by the keg. He purt near caught the measles once and he purt near broke his leg. Why, he had purt near been a trail boss, and according to his claim, he had purt near shot Bill Hickok, which had purt near won him fame. Now mostly, all of us boys on that lazy SB spread, we took his talking with a grin, and we let him fight his head. But one, named Tom McGinnis, now he told it to him kind of rough. He says, Cowboy, you're riding for an outfit now where Purt Near ain't enough. We tie our lasso ropes to the horn, and what we catch we hold. And Purt Near is one alibi we never do unfold. In fact, right now, I'll tell you no words I ever hear can sound as plain damn useless as that little pair Purt Near. That's how old Tom McGinnis laid it out upon the line, and like a heap of preaching talk, it sounded mighty fine. But one day, while McGinnis was riding off alone, he lamed his horse and had to catch a neighbor Nestor's roan to ride back to the ranch on. Well, somewhere along the way, a bunch of nesters held him up, and there was hell to pay. Tom said, I never stole the horse. I just borrowed it to ride. But them nesters hated cowboys, and they told him that he lied. They took him for a horse thief. They caught him with the goods, so they set right out to hang him in a nearby patch of woods. They tied a noose around his neck, and they throwed it over a limb. And Tom McGinnis, Purt Near, knowed that this was the last of him. Suddenly, a shot rang out from somewhere up on that hill. Them nesters dropped that rope and ran like nesters sometimes will when bullets go to whizzing. Old Tom's heart leaped up with hope to see old Purt Near Perkins riding towards him at a lope. Looks like Purt Near got here just in time, old Perkins said, to see them nesters hang you. Old Tom's face got red. You Purt Near did. Tom Purt Near grinned. They Purt Near had me strung. You're looking at a cowboy's Purt Near just been hung. And also, one who's changed his mind. For no words I ever heard said can sound as sweet as Purt Near to a man who's been Purt Near dead. Okay, I'm going to do a kind of a Baxter Black one that I've always really liked, and I've been getting a lot of requests for it lately. So it's a lot of cowboys that get to be a little long in the tooth like I am know you're going to come up against this sooner or later. It's called A Time to Stay and A Time to Go. You know, I got this ranch from my daddy. He came here in 17. He carved this place out of muscle and blood. His own and his old Percheron team. I took over in 50. I married my darling in May. Together we weathered whatever came up, and she had what it took to stay. We decided this winter we'd sell out and leave in the spring. The kids are all grown and city folk now, and We never did raise them to cling. Oh, sure, I wish they'd wanted the ranch and they carry it on. But they did their part, and I thank them for that. Now they're all married and gone. We spent the last 30-odd years collecting an amazing number of things. Bonnets and bottles, clippings and letters, and Dad's old surgical rings. We spent them winter months sorting. Our hearts would ache, or they would jump, as we looked at our lives through the trinkets we'd saved, then boxed up or took to the dump. We cried sometimes up in that attic. I'm not ashamed of the truth, for I love this old ranch we're leaving, and we gave it the strength of our youth. And I love this old woman beside me. She's held me and stayed by my side. When I told her I was thinking about selling, she said, "Honey, I'm here for the ride." So them new fellows taking over Monday are nice, and I wish them the best of luck. But I'd rather be gone when they get here. So darling, get your stuff. I've already gassed up the truck. And looking back over my shoulder at the mailbox, I guess I know. There's a time to be staying, a time to be going, and I reckon it's time to go. Thank you. One more. This is another Bruce Kiskaddon poem that I like. It's called Bronco Twister's Pair. I did this earlier today, but I got another request for it, so here we go. It was just a little graveyard on the rolling foothill plains. It was bleached by sun and summer, swept by the winter snows and rains. There, a little bunch of settlers had gathered on an autumn day around a homemade lumber coffin with their last respects to pay. Weary men who wrung their living from this hard and arid land. Beside them stood their women, faded wives with toil-worn hands. But one figure among them was wiry, straight, and trim. Everyone among us knew him. It was that Bronco twister, Jim. Just a bunch of hardened muscle, tempered with a savage grit. But he had the reputation of a man that would never quit. He helped to build the coffin. He helped to dig the grave. His instincts must have told him how he was supposed to behave. Well, we didn't have no preacher, and that crowd was mighty slim. Just two women with weak voices sang an old-time funeral hymn. That was all we had for service, with the old wife a-sobbing there for her husband of a lifetime, laid away without a prayer. Then she saw that Bronco twister, and she walked right up to him. She put one trembling arm around him and said, "Pray, please won't you, Jim?" You could see his figure straighten and a look of quick surprise shoot across those swarthy features and those hard daredevil eyes. Now he could handle any Bronco, and he never dodged a fight. They say that was the first time anybody had ever seen his face turn white. But he took his large sombrero off that rough and shaggy head. Oh, I wish I could remember the words that Bronco peeler said. No, he wasn't educated. On the range his youth was spent. But the maker of creation knew exactly what he meant. He looked over towards the mountains where the drifting shadows played. Silence must have reigned in heaven that day when they heard the way Jim prayed. Now, it's been years since we gathered in that lonely graveyard lot, but it gave us all a memory and plenty of food for thought. As we stood beside this coffin with some freshly broken sod, with the reckless Bronco breaker talking heart to heart with God. And when that prayer was finished and that grave had all been filled, on his half unbroken pony, he rode back towards them hills. We just stood there and let him. We just watched him ride away, for no words could ever thank him. There's just nothing we could say. Since we gathered in that graveyard, it's been nearly 50 years. With their joys, with their sorrows, with their hopes and their fears. But I hope that when I'm finished and they've laid me with the dead, some cowboy say a prayer above me, like that Bronco twister said. Amen and Godspeed. Thank you.